Well, I'm still not totally sure what to say for these. I didn't prepare anything. Like I said I would. I future faked. I'm sorry. I'll be honest and say that this video series I'm doing is more for me at this point than anyone else. And I do feel like I'm an expert on narcissism at this point. I guess I'm a Hyoka empath, at least according to the research I've done, but I mean, that's not really a scientific thing, but it's the same as like covert narcissist, right? There's no such thing in the medical journals of a covert narcissism. It's just narcissism, you know? It's all the same, deep down. It's the same for empaths, super empaths, whatever, in the medical journals. It's just empath. So what makes an empath? How about that? I mean, it's just you feel other people's emotions. And it's not something you can turn on and off, you know? I feel like normal empathy, I'm not sure, because, you know, if you're an empath, you've been this way your whole life, right? I'm not sure about how empathy works for normal people. I know it doesn't work at all for narcissists or people with type B personality disorders, or I think any personality disorder. I'm not totally sure. But type B, they have no empathy. But for normal people, I assume that it's something you kind of have to get over yourself a little bit before you can like see things from other people's perspectives. You know, you do have to kind of make a conscious effort. In the medical journals, I know it says that empaths probably, because it's again, they're not going to go around abusing kids just to like, does this turn people into empaths? But they grew up in a very chaotic environment. The more chaotic that was, the more of an empath they probably are. And just in the layman's terms, not the medical journals again, because there's only one type of empath, just a person who feels other people's emotions. There's also the super empath, who, as far as I can tell, just an empath who's gone supernova, which is what they call, again, layman's terms, what they call when you get really angry, or when you become the narcissist, pretty much, because you've been living with a narcissist for so long that they just devalue everything about you. They devalue your individuality. They devalue everything, and because you're caught up in this mess of gaslighting and manipulation, you slowly start to lose those pieces of yourself until you have nothing left. You know, until your very personality is just this narcissist personality, but they continue to devalue even that, right? Until it's just you're totally drained of supply, and then you become that part of the narcissist that they don't know is down there, or they pretend isn't. You know, you become that part of the narcissist that affected them initially, that traumatized them into becoming this narcissistic person, and you embody that, and it scares them the hell out of your life because they had no idea that. I mean, they always saw you as a weakling, right? Because you have emotions, because you're an empath. Empathy is a weakness to them because they don't have empathy at all. They have apathy. And their apathy they see as a strength, and empathy they see as a weakness. You know, because they think it's like, oh, that makes you so gullible, you're willing to just do everything for everyone, right? And I can manipulate that. And they manipulate it so hard and so heavy and so fast sometimes. I mean, sometimes it can be a really slow burn that you explode, you know, because you're a very emotional being. And if you're constantly being drained of all your emotions, that's going to wear out, you know, that's going to make you crazy. Because you have to feel you're an empath. You should be allowed to feel your emotions. God damn it. But narcissists don't understand that. They only see you as a form of supply. I mean, you're a really great form of supply to them because you're just so full of emotion and all they want is your emotional reactions. And then you explode and they have no idea why. And they're just like, you're crazy. And then they smear campaign you to everyone because the problem isn't anything they did. It's that you got angry. You know, that's how they see it. That's how narcissists will always see it. The problem, they can't introspect. That's the thing. Like, They can't ask questions like, wait, did I do something wrong? That'll never happen. It's always you. It's always, or whoever's around them, right? It's always their fault. It's never the narcissist's fault. If they have to accept blame, that's saying they're less than perfect, and being less than perfect means they're worthless. Because that's how twisted they are. That's how twisted their brains are, and that's why they all need therapy, but they're not going to do that. Anyway, that's going supernova, and as far as I can tell, that's like that's the hump you have to get over if you want to be a super empath. It just means you've been there. You know how it is to become another person, right? And then how to scare the hell out of that other person so they never talk to you again. I mean, you never want to talk to them again anyway, because they're never not going to be a narcissist. I've heard if you go through the treatment or whatever for narcissism, it will help and make you less narcissistic over long periods of time, but they'll never do that. They're proud of their narcissism. They think it makes them special, even though it makes them all the exact same as each other. They don't know that. Then there's the Heyoka empath. Hyoka? I never remember. It's another one of the things, like, work with what you got, right? If you're not a Hyoka empath, why are you trying to be one? Do you know how painful it is all the time? Because you've been shattered, been shattered up into pieces until you're not even sure who you are anymore. And then, like, the people you're around, you can see them, right? You can truly see them, but like no one ever sees themselves. No one wants to see themselves. You spend all this time working on yourself, and then you're probably like smear campaigned like me constantly by everyone. You have to learn all life lessons hard and fast. Because if you don't, you won't survive. What it really takes to be a Heyoka is like you mirror qualities back to them. You become other people so you can learn who they are inside, right? Like, narcissistic mirroring isn't that, right? Narcissistic mirroring, they're mirroring the surface level stuff, the stuff that they can see. That's why they don't like mirroring you if you're a Hyoka like me, because they'll mirror you for a bit and then you'll do something that's totally out of whack, right? Because you're mirroring the inside of them. You're mirroring what's inside. And then they see something. You might like show them something that they don't like, and then that's when they suddenly turn on the aggression, and you're like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it at all. I didn't even know I was doing it. Because it's just an automatic thing. You just become other people, and not in a narcissistic way, because they don't get that. They don't understand things under the surface. They literally don't, because they don't understand anything outside themselves, and they can't introspect. They only project. They don't introspect. I mean, I feel there's more to it than that. There's a lot of mystical things, I think, that come with being a Heyoka empath. I mean, like I said, it feels like God or whatever you want, or fate, or the world, or whatever you want to call it. It just never lets you slow down, You never get to rest. And I think that's like the most chaotic scenarios emotionally. That's the people who become the Heyoka, growing up in the most chaos. And like everyone else will probably become a narcissist, because empaths are rare in general, right? Narcissism. Becomes a lot easier to pick up on people's narcissism, on the traits that they all have. I mean, because everyone has narcissistic traits, right? It's tied into our survival instinct, and like the the more our life is in danger, the more narcissistic we're going to be. We might like to think we'd pull an old lady out of the burning building, but there's a chance we'll just be like, it's on fire, jump out the window. And we might do really crazy things because we think we're like in that instant really entitled to it, right? Or like the rules don't apply to us in that instant, right? Because our life's in danger. And like for really narcissistic people, they're basically in survival mode all the time. And that's kind of a tragedy, but we can't make others choose to find help. Other people have to choose that on their own. And narcissists never will, because they don't have the ability to introspect. Then you're a Hyoka, and then sometimes you do things like dream the future, or you might just pick up on things. And it's more than just, you pick up on other people's emotions. I mean, that just happens naturally through like micro aggressions or whatever, micro, what do you call it? Emotes. I don't know. Never mind. Like empaths do that a lot because like they had to know what their parents' emotions were before they tried to say approach them with any problems. And then that was insane anyway because their emotions could change on a dime. Like I had a stepfather who was basically a psychopath, and he was a psychopath, and there's no way to gauge how he'd react to anything, and like mostly it would just be bad, you know. He had like a very shallow ego, and like as soon as you did or said anything, he might just like suddenly explode. It didn't even matter what it was, you know. Being an empath in this society isn't really something you want to be. I mean, this society is so narcissistic, really. I mean, that's the reason people only care about things like celebrity and money and power, you know, because that's the narcissist. Those are the narcissistic things, right? The surface level stuff and all the surface level stuff. That's all this society is based on right now. No one cares about anything else. We're destroying the planet. Who cares? Is it making me enough? Is it making me money to save it? Nah. So who cares? You know, I'm gonna die before any of that happens. So who cares? You know, I'm entitled to this. I'm entitled to destroying the planet. That seems to be the creed of today. And I mean, not everyone, but it's still, it's too much. Everyone has personal power, right? But most people just want to devalue it. Most people want to just like say like, okay, whatever you're doing or whatever you're passionate about isn't good enough for this society, as if this society is somehow better than. And it's basically worse than McCarthyism was, right? Except that they're not scared of communists, right? They're not scared of like something they can just put a finger on. They're just scared of anything that's not them. Here's 5 tips to survive in this dumb world for empaths. 1. Learn to control your emotions. That's number 1. Because you need to, protect against narcissists, for one thing. Or I shouldn't even say control your emotions. You know, learn to hide your emotions. Learn to keep it hidden until later, and then do something like how I'm making these videos. Something to like get them out of you later. Something creative and productive instead of raging around or crying uncontrollably or whatever. Learn to hide your emotions until you can bring them out somewhere. That's my first advice. 2. Learn to recognize when your emotions aren't your own. Again, you're still going to feel them. You're still going to feel other people's emotions. But if you can like kind of recognize like, oh, why do I suddenly feel like I'm getting down on myself? Oh, it's not that I'm getting down on myself. It's that these people who are with me are devaluing me or silently judging me. You know, that's stuff you pick up on. And it's stuff that like gets under your skin. And it'll get under your skin long before anyone even assaults you because you're an empath. So that's number 2, you know. Learn to recognize when it's other people's emotions and not your own. You know, you'll still feel them, but like at least recognize when it's not your own. It's healthier overall. And in those times, sometimes you can like find your own emotions, right? 3, learn to gray rock. Learn to gray rock like crazy. I mean, that's the hiding your emotions part, but and gray rocking, it's just being totally emotionless, you know. And it's not the silent treatment because narcissists will, because they use the silent treatment all the time. They'll recognize that as like an act of aggression, like might get angry or something. So just use like monosyllabic responses or like very limited responses and not emote, you know. Try not to frown either. Try to keep your lips like steady or keep it in a little Mona Lisa smile so they can't even tell if you're smiling or not, you know. like that. Yeah. And just don't emote to anything the narcissist. But when narcissists start behaving, well, just do it all the time to them, really, is kind of what I think. But it's not something that can happen over a long period of time. It'll just be worse for you because they'll get a lot more aggressive in their in what they're doing to you. And really, if your life's in danger, call the police. There's that too. Um, that was number 3. Learn to gray rock. Number 4, remember to laugh. That's something that you have over a narcissist. My millions of percent points. Just in that their sense of humor is very limited. But as an empath, you probably get humor a lot more, and it comes from more places even. You might see something that's funny just in like a normal picture of like a cow or something like that. You might, you find humor in things. And I think that in a lot of ways that's the best defense against narcissistic abuse. If you can find the humor in everything. I mean, again, if people are actually physically harming you, call the police. Don't just laugh. They're stabbing me. Yeah, call the police in that situation. But I mean, otherwise, just find the humor and laugh at it, and don't share it because narcissists do not get jokes unless it's at someone else's expense. But if otherwise, they'll probably consider jokes as some kind of insult because they didn't get it. Oh, you told that joke specifically against me, type of thing. But I mean, I also say don't tell jokes to narcissists because again, humor is not in their repertoire. And advice number 5 for all empaths is have a place or a time period where you can be alone. You need to be alone. You can't be around other people all the time because their emotions will just drive you insane. So just have that safe space somewhere or sometime. Any time period, any place, just find it and go there once a day for an hour at least. For me, it's the middle of the night till about 6 a.m. because that's the only time I could get to myself. I just stay up until they wake up again. One more thing I wanted to say, and that's that if you are watching, I hope your life's going well. It's probably not if you're watching stuff like this. So I apologize for that. Thank you for watching.